me. I think he started in January of 2005, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
So, there are a couple, there are a couple OGs out here still doing
So
it,
much
and
for advertising.
he, he's been incredibly, um, he's been incredibly prolific and just continuously putting out the episodes, and he's got several different
Mm-hmm.
shows under his podcast factory belt.
Mm-hmm. Nice. And Sam, this is my first time meeting you. What's your story?
I was drawn to ccmusic back in 2010 when I did a Google search of like free music to download, and I found Jamindo, and I ended up quickly falling in love with some of the bands there, and then I just, I guess, um,
Went from there.
yeah, just found like the Free Music Archive and a bunch of other resources, and I've just constantly found good music. Um,
Yeah. Do you do a podcast now or what?
I don't have a podcast. I pretty much, I mean, I occasionally share links to music that I like on my Mastodon and Facebook accounts. But I don't know. I don't have a podcast, no.
Okay. Yeah. I've been. I kind of. I got started on this when the MPAA, wait, no, RIAA, I've forgotten that acronyms. When they started going out there and suing people for listening, for downloading and stuff like that, I just like got to this point. I'm like, I can't support this system. They're like, instead of fixing their business model, because the music industry's business model had always been delivering a physical product to the store and getting someone to buy it. And when that model broke, instead of trying to find a solution, they just said, "Oh, I'm going to sue everybody." And I quit listening to music at that point in time because I was so sick of just seeing that kind of behavior and seeing people getting sued for downloading music. And I was like, this isn't right. And then a couple of years
Yeah.
later, I came across Jamindo, and it's like, oh, there's a license that supports and allows for this. And it's amazing. And I still remember, like, one of the first songs I came across was Brad Sucks, Making Me Nervous.
Yeah,
Mm,
that,
mm,
that
mm.
was a very good song.
I mean, that was like the gateway drug for me. But I've been doing the official start of my podcast was 11/11/11.
Hmm.
And
Nice.
mhm. So that's why when we're talking, I always want to do something on 11/11 because that's the official start date. So I did it on 11/11/22 was the 11-year anniversary. And that was like the first big event I did out. Um, but no, I've started as part of it. Like Jason was saying, he doesn't like going out to the bars and clubs anymore. We get old for that. It gets to this point that we don't want to do it. And I just started inviting bands to come and perform at the house. And
Hmm.
so like in
Just at your
2019,
house?
yeah. Oh yeah, this is actually like this is my office. This is my room I work from, and I've actually kind of set it up as a recording studio,
Mm.
or trying to set it up. I'm not really talented at that part of it. I'm getting better. But yeah, I just kind of set it up as a recording studio, and we invite artists to come down and play. 2019, I had John Worthy, then I had Cullah, and then COVID hit in March 2020 and kind of put a stamp on it, and I've just started kind of getting back into it. But
Okay.
it's actually a lot of fun because I got to tell you, there's something nice about sitting in your own chair in your own house, listening to some of your favorite music and stuff like that. Like we had John perform. John Worthy was here the last two nights, and it was so nice. We were just sitting in the house listening, and oh, I'm forgetting the name of the song. Um, Please Tell Me by him. And it was really nice to actually sit there and listen to him play it live and be able to be like, yeah, this song was such a big part of our relationship. Because like me and her during COVID was like, please tell me everything's going to be all right. And it was just like a song that resonated so much in our relationship. And to have him like come and sit here in the house and play it is just amazing. So that's my fun, is having people come to the house. Um, I don't have it posted anywhere, but I actually had one night where I had Culla and John Worthy here, and that was just like a magical evening. Because Culla doesn't get to travel with the band, so all of a sudden, John and his guys just started playing backup for Culla. And we got a, I don't know if you can really see it because I got but there's like even a full size upright piano in here. So like Culla just started jamming out on the piano, and
You
it's,
got like blur turned on, so we can't see anything.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's hard to tell.
see, the room's kind of a mess, so that's why I had the blur on. It happens. I see. Did not turn off. Where's to turn it off? Oh, it's not letting me turn it off. I don't think, is it? Oh, there it
So
is.
I think it's
Yeah.
settings, virtual backgrounds. Yeah,
But
you
the
can go to
cameras,
none.
there it goes. But yeah, if you want to drop your screen share for a second, Doug,
Oh, yeah.
I could go up to the full screen. But yeah, see, we got the piano in there and everything, and like I've really gone through and soundproofed the room. There's like you can see the drapes behind me over here. Like there's 6 drapes there that I can sit there and close it down, and like the entire room is just lined with those. And I mean, when you walk into this house, you can tell the difference of how much it sounds like it just there's no echo in here. And we've had full bands in here performing, and you go outside into the driveway and you can barely hear it. Like there's no noise complaints because like people will pull up and they're like, I couldn't find the house. I'm like, well, you couldn't hear the music? They're like, no, we couldn't hear anything. But so yeah, I'll sit here and drink my whiskey and have my favorite artist sit right there and perform. And you know, I'd rather spend the money to do that than to go out to a venue. I mean, you don't get the group, but you get the little personalized.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. And it is a mess. So, but yeah, full size piano. I am starting to learn to play it. I'm trying. I can do the four chord catchy. The dun dun. Yeah, that's it. That's it. What is it? The four chords of awesome. There's a band that did it. They went through and they took every single song that uses those same four chords and progress through all of them to where they'll like sing one or two lines of every single song that uses that same set. That's where it's been my practice there. So, but yes. Oh, and I will say this over on the left is one of my favorite things. Well, there's a child. You can't see him. He's one of my favorite things as well. But right here is the poster. See, there's a child. He stuck his head out. But that was actually from the Dueling Hall show that we had as part of it. Because with album art, people go crazy over concert art. So that is my concert art from my event, and I actually had all the different artists sign it that performed that night, and got a nice big frame for it and everything. So that is my concert art. And there is Jeff Rosenstock, Black Light, No Dream. Sorry, I had to give the quick tour. Welcome back, Doug.
Hey, I was just duplicating the different the the spreadsheet here for the lists. We don't need a possible performer for 2025 though. So,
Oh, and
although what I should do is have a column for touring folks, and that way I need to make sure that I give them ample time in case they want to play a show.
And I'm going to squirrel one more second. You see the little electric scooter right there? I was having to yell at my child, John Worthy, not to ride it barefoot in the house. He got on the scooter and just started riding it. I'm like, dude, don't get on that barefoot, and just start riding through the house. And the child went and got a 1x6 so he could actually do jumps and stuff. And I'm just like, oh, God. It was a lot of fun, though. All right. Please continue, Doug. That was a squirrel moment. Do you know about the squirrel?
I was just thinking, I wonder if there's a way to do this so that Josh can come to Minneapolis and
Jackson?
And Jackson. Yeah. I mean, the answer is probably no if we do July and November.
Yeah.
I mean, then we sort of run into we're kind of waiting late in the year sort of thing.
Yeah. Oh, and you know who one of the people that'd be most excited to have Looselings and the Bombs here? Child?
Yes.
Would you be excited to have Looseling and the Bombs?
I'd be ecstatic.
Yes, he loves Looseling and the Bombs. His first day of high school, he wore a Looseling and the Bombs t-shirt. Because he's really cool, if you couldn't hear him.
Yeah, I mean, if you get Josh confirmed, then you'll probably end up getting a lot of people to come. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna take them off the invite list.
Yeah.
But that's a thing for me to figure out later as far as the invite list. I think I had it up, it went away, but the New York to Minneapolis on Amtrak is $150. I didn't see how long it was. It might be longer than anybody wants to be on a train, but it's not that bad.
Writing it down anyway. I'm writing it down anyway.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, I didn't look at like anything except like I just saw the price.
And I know I got Amtrak points.
Yeah.
Fancy people with trains and stuff like that. That's just ridiculous.
Maybe I did the 12th. I don't know what dates I picked before.
I will tell you there's some $30 a night hotels in Jackson. They're not the places you want to stay unless you want bed bugs.
I remember this from one of the last times you were on.
Yeah. We had a contractor at my last job they hired in to come out, and nobody warned her of where to get hotel. And the first day she's like, yeah, I got these bites on my leg. I'm like, wait, where are you staying? She's like, oh, over here. It was really cheap. And we're like, yeah, that's your problem. You need to get to a different hotel immediately. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think the problem with the light rail in Minneapolis is probably everywhere it goes, the hotels are going to be expensive. I mean, not outrageous, but not cheap either. They're working on an extension out into the burbs, but I don't think it's going to be done. Blue line extension. Come completion date. Let's see here.
Yeah, I will say that was one other thing when you're talking about like possibly New York. That would be the thing is hotels are going to be expensive there.
Yeah, you could take the train in from Connecticut though, as I have done.
I'm just a simple Mississippi boy. I don't know how these trains work. I was very proud. I made it all the way from Arno's house, Josh's guitarist, from his house in Paris to back to Amsterdam, navigating the trains and subway completely by myself. I did miss my first train, but I did make it from his house, walking to the Paris subway, to the main train
They
station.
have too many like different like train. There's like the regional train and the city train and the European train. There were at least 3, but it was nice during the Olympics because they just had like an Olympics pass,
Mhm.
and then like you didn't have to worry about it. It was just like just hop on a train.
How was that being there for the Olympics?
It was good. It was it's hard to know like how, because I've never been there before, how different it is. But it sounded like there's a time of year where a lot of people leave the city anyway, and so we went on a food tour, and he was saying, yeah, it's like it's kind of normal this time of year for it to be kind of dead. But yeah, it was like super like not crowded, and everything was pretty well run except the tennis stuff was not well run at all. Uh, but some of that was like, well, actually, a lot of it was weather. Like one of the days it was really hot, and they were like not at all prepared for that. And then another day it stormed, and they were like it flooded, and like they had all the like barriers up, and but they were like pointing people like into the flood, like when like they were trying to get people out. And it was just like, okay, like they had a plan, and it was probably a pretty good plan, but then like I guess it's like who was it? Was it Mike Tyson? Everybody has a plan until you get punched in the mouth. So
Yep.
I kind of felt like that about the tennis, like but yeah, and I had hopes after like the first time we went and it was just like so hot. I had hopes that they would like, they would come up with like plan B, but they kind of, I mean, it wasn't as hot, so it's hard to know like how big of a contingency it would have been, but like, yeah, they didn't handle the storm situation very well either. So, but is what it is. Storms are never good. So, but yeah, everything else was really well run, and the people that were around were nice and friendly, and so.
Yeah, I will say that was one thing Josh told me in Paris is that as long as you actually try to show them respect, they're usually friendly to you in Paris. It's when you're not respectful to them that's when they start getting rude. If you just kind of come up and be entitled to them, that's when they're going to be rude to them. But if you
Yeah.
actually try to make an attempt, they're not going to be just horrible.
Yeah, I don't really know, like, we're getting like way off topic, but but like
Squirrel.
the maybe it's just because like uh maybe people in the US that travel, like they're like, yeah, our government bombs people, so we try to like be a low profile. But I think it's like the British are just like, it just seems like they're just like complete assholes when they travel for whatever reason. I don't really know what that's all about, but it's like it just seems like everything I always hear is like, I don't know if they drink too much or like I don't know what's going on, but it seems like the British have a bad travel reputation. Maybe it's not well earned. I don't know, but it's like I feel like like all these places that are like like a lot of places they're like boycotting, or they're like there's like anti-tourist sentiment and stuff, but
Well,
I feel like I don't know.
it's kind of crazy, and I know this is going way off topic, but there's a lot of cities that have always been famous for tourists that are like, no, we can't handle you anymore. You're
Yeah,
making it too hard, and you're making life suck
yeah,
for everyone that lives there. Because wasn't it Venice that
yeah.
that they're
Venice had
like only so many people are allowed to get off the cruise ships. Like they're
yeah,
like, no, if you dock here, you have only like 100 people are
yeah,
allowed off the ship. Everybody else has to stay on the boat because we don't want to deal with the inflow of people.
yeah,
And then of course it ruins the economy because everybody wants to get Airbnbs, and you get rich people buying these places. They'll stay for 1 week a year, and then everybody else has to go move elsewhere.
yeah,
Digress. I'm sorry.
yeah. The It's not just Airbnb. It's Verbo and all of
Oh yeah.
those places. But yeah, I mean that's a problem in the U.S. too. It's
Oh yeah.
not just
That
a European
people
problem.
there's too many rentals and not enough houses to purchase.
Yeah.
Uh, but
Um.
that's why I like Mississippi. I have a cheap place to live. Um, Squirrel. Just one more second. Like where I work remote, and they're like, oh, you could always move to where our office is. And I was like looking, and I'm like, yeah, for what I pay a month in my mortgage, I could get like a 500 square foot studio apartment for what I pay for my house. And it's just like, no, that's not worth it. Uh, like this room is 500 square feet or 400 square feet, and you want me to live my entire life in here? No. Kitchen, bedroom? No, no, no. I am a king of squirrels.
Um. So I have some work to do. But do we have anything as far as the planning? Do we have anything else we want to discuss?
I think I'm good at the moment. I do want to sit there, and if you guys have any input on like documents to hand out, because that is one of the things I really want to start working on, like locally, is I want to have a release form that I can start giving to artists so that when I record their set, it allows me to release under a Creative Commons license. I want to have something that I can sit there as I'm going to like different people and talking about it. And like I'm dropping off more records at the record store next week. I want to be able to give him something that he can hand out to people if they ask, or he wants to tell them that maybe I can get some more local people signed up and wanting to do Creative Commons music. Um, and I just really want to try to get something that's going to help drive that aspect of it for me, that I can sit there and start getting the releases, and I can start actually getting handouts and start convincing local artists to do it. And I mean, just like I have like 7 or 8 different bands that we talked about it with them before we recorded about doing it, but I just haven't finished up doing it. But I want to sit there and say, hey, I want to finally go ahead and release this and get your music out so I can play it on the stream and make it available and see how it works. But yeah, that may be something may ask for help on, figure out how to do it to where if you guys want to do that. But that engagement resources is what want to call it, because one of the things that we want to do as a group is try to convince more people to release more stuff under Creative Commons. And I want to have resources that kind of make that possible. So,
Yes, it's an excellent goal.
but that's just one of my thoughts. I have lots of them. If you stick around enough, I'll tell you more.
Well, I think, I mean, if you want, Rhino, you could schedule a call, and people that want to get involved in that could
Okay.
could join up.
All right. All right. Well, I'll see about putting something out there, but like I said, that's one of the things I'm wanting to do to kind of really help us out and like drive what we're doing with the Creative Commons music. And it's one of the things, and I'm going to tell you, every time I sit there and tell people about this idea, they love it, is getting records from the different artists I like and giving them to the record store. Everybody is just like, oh my God, that's great. I'm actually going to put some stickers on them for my show and stuff on the next batch I drop, to where I'm going to have a link back to my show. So I'm going to actually start having a little section in the record store that's going to be all the stuff I bring them, and try to actually use that to help drive people back to my show and actually really help get the artists I like a following here local. So when they do show up, that there's actually people that are excited for them. Because I was talking to John, and one of the things he said when he was touring a lot, he's like, it's kind of gets depressing when you show up at a venue and there's 15 people there that don't care about you. That there's just 15 people that's sitting there because that's just the place they go to drink. And it's going to be nice to actually get something that makes it nice for the bands to show up and stuff. So, Doug, do you have any people you think might be helpful on kind of finalizing that?
It's a good question. I mean, I think that Mike has probably had those conversations with folks before, but I know he's busy with Project Equalize. You might as well invite Mike.
Mhm.
As far as outreach, people that would be good with stuff like that. Tom talks to a lot of musicians. Might have some good feedback. If you so Tom does a lot of his work on the weekends, so
Yeah.
there's a good chance if you have a call on a weekend, he won't be able to attend.
Yeah. And actually, I'll say I have a live recording from him I need to release too. Got him, Resurrectionist, and Cullah from that show in Milwaukee. Got a really good sound on that one. All right. But Tom and Mike, Jason, or Sam, would you guys be interested in any of those conversations?
I would.
Okay. I'll go ahead and add you on this too.
Yeah.
Oh, the other thing I've thought about doing, and I talked to John about doing it, I'm starting to want to try to commission songs. Like, I'm wondering if I could commission Professor Click to do one. Because I know he hasn't been doing a lot of stuff, but try to commission a remix from him. But John's like, yeah, for a fully produced song, for a commission, he's like, I usually charge $650 to do a fully commissioned song. So we're working on chilling at Rhinos.
Yeah, he Professor Click had an album out in 2022, but it was it's all rights reserved.
Yeah, it was the theme to Spider Heck.
Yeah.
Well, the soundtrack. It was a
Right.
video game he did.
Yeah.
But I think that I kind of want to do that because I just think it'll be fun.
Yeah.
That's actually so far. There's about six or seven different ones that I've had done so far. Jurgen from Freak Fandango did 2 of them. He did a cover of Paul and the Storm's "Bright Like the Wind," which is George R. Martin. You need to write faster, and you're not getting any older, and you need to finish the books before you die. Tornado Rhinoso by them. We got a cover of the Toothaches. The Toothaches did a cover of Jonathan Colton's "I Feel Fantastic," which is like, you know, the original song "I Feel Fantastic." I feel fantastic. And it's this zombied out, drugged out remix of it, and it's just amazing. Then there's Rhino's theme by Kevin MacLeod. Then Vienna Ditto, before they kind of broke up, they actually did a song about the night we hung out with them in Cologne, Germany, in Cologne, Germany, at the Cologne Commons. And yeah.
Rhino, was that the last one? Josh couldn't remember.
The Cologne Commons. I don't know
Yeah.
if they did any others or not. I know that was the last time. That was 2015 when we went.
Okay, I think they had one in or they were planning to have one in 2016, if I remember correctly.
Oh, I always forget his name. The guy that ran that. He's like this 7-foot tall German guy. I cannot remember his name. If he listens, I'm sorry. I apologize for not remembering.
Stoffel was involved. I don't know if that's who you're talking about.
Yeah,
but...
Stoffel. I actually was talking one day about making another trip to Europe and doing another couch surfing tour of Europe. And Stuff was like, "Yeah, you can come stay at our place." And they had just released a video that was him and his wife like running through a dungeon with axes and stuff. And I'm like, "Sybil, they invite us to come stay with them." And she's like, no, that's not going to happen." But I'm sure they put the axes up when they have people from out of town in. At least I hope they do. But,
yeah. So 2015 was Vienna Ditto, Lewis Ling, and then they do have a. I don't recognize. Oh, I do recognize one of them. Entertainment from the Brain Dead played in 2016, and I don't recognize any of the other musicians. But yeah, they did. They had one more after 2015.
After that,
yeah. So. All right. Well, yeah, I'm gonna get in touch with the folks that I've already talked to about this and let them know the change of plans and get something up on the website. We have the check-in meeting in October, so we'll still keep that as currently planned on the 13th. I'm saying that as much for you guys as I am for the recording. So yeah, October 13th. If you're watching and you're not on that invite list and you want to be, then let me know and I will send you the invite.
all right.
Okie dokie.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Always a pleasure. Thanks so much.
Have a good one, Jason. Sam.
Okay.
Rhino.
You too.
Have a good one.
Done, hon.